Welcome, everyone, to our Crushing It in Aesthetics expert interview series. After founding and running one of the largest and most respected medical aesthetics training institutes in the country, we've noticed that the learning and growing doesn't stop at graduation. This Crushing It in Aesthetics expert interview series is specifically designed to cater to the needs of those starting in aesthetics practice, a med spa, as well as practice managers and providers. So, are you ready? We're about to go on a wild ride as we unpack the science behind crushing it in aesthetics and in life, one expert interview at a time. Welcome everybody to Louology and our Crushing It with Aesthetics expert interview. I'm here with Tom today, the VP of Cartessa. Tom, what's your official title with Cartessa?
My title is President of Laser Technology, and I also run the National Accounts Program.
So you're a busy guy.
Not a lot of downtime, yeah.
I was going to say, I thought I traveled a lot, but I bet you got me beat. I bet you're on more airplanes than I am. I don't know.
We can compare miles.
We could probably list off our favorite restaurants at all the airports, right?
Right, yeah.
All right, so I'm excited to talk with you, Tom, because on our channel, we're talking with some big laser companies, injection companies, and attorneys and different people about the different business models that exist. And I'm excited to talk to you because Cartessa has a really cool business model. For people that know the industry, I mean, how long have you been in the business? 10, 20 years? I don't even remember.
So I actually started in 1999. I actually started when I was in high school. I was moving lasers from place to place. My friend's father was a VP of a company. He needed cheap labor. I needed some spending money, and just kind of worked, and I kept doing it through college. Actually never thought that this was going to be my full-time career. But when I graduated in 2004, I went into this full-time, and I've been doing it ever since with a number of different roles, from everything doing sales aspect, clinical, sales development, product development. So I've really kind of got to stretch my wings.
So over the years, I assume you've been involved with probably several major manufacturers over the years, right?
Yeah. So I've really primarily worked with two companies, which has been, I started in the industry with Palomar, who was then taken over by Cynosure. So I was there for about 7.5 years, from 2004 to 2011. And then I went from there to working with the Quanta devices, and that kind of transitioned into my role here at Cartessa, because we carry multiple different products from multiple manufacturers, which is really kind of one of the foundation and cornerstones of who Cartessa is.
I think it's kind of a cool story. So most of the manufacturers we work with, they've got one brand and a bunch of devices that they manufacture. But the toughest part as a business owner, I don't sell equipment, I don't make equipment, but as a business owner, I like this device from this company, but then they don't really have it all. So I like this device from this company and this from this company, but it's kind of tough sometimes to deal with like 4 different companies. So I heard the story then one day that the owner of your company, Gabe Lubin, was a hot shot with Cynosure back in the day when they were one of the biggest companies in the world, and he went off to do his own thing, and he started with a small company. And I'm going to let you tell the story of how he evolved, because I think it's a really cool business model of how it evolved.
Yeah, I think Gabe saw a need in the industry, and Gabe was really always, I was more I could see the trees, Gabe could see the complete forest. He had that vision and the view to really take something and know what practitioners wanted and really what they needed, which is, look, the most important thing from any company is you need the equipment to work. And a lot of companies that were out there, if they made one great product, if they made a great hair removal device, doesn't mean that their photofacial system was awesome or their fractional technology was awesome. So you would kind of have their stellar products or the best in class products from one particular company, and maybe another competitive company would have another amazing, great product in a different, market segment.
It's like that with injections too. You might like Botox over here and a different product over here. You might be, same concept.
And skincare and everything else, and car industry, right? If we think about it, it makes sense. Not everybody does everything the best. And really where Cartessa and what Gabe's vision was, he wanted to make partnerships. He didn't want to actually manufacture the products in-house. He wanted to partner with all of the best companies that were out there to give the clients, to give the practitioners, and he really has 3 major principles. 1, efficacy. The devices have to work. If it doesn't work, look, as a salesperson, you don't want to sell it. As somebody who's a practitioner, you don't want to offer it. There are many companies that were offering these B, C, D class products as part of their full portfolio, and that just diminishes their value. So that's not something that Cartessa really wanted to stand for. We got to make sure the devices work, and they work fantastic. The second thing is the patient experience. Just like with Botox and fillers, like there's this kind of immediate gratification with a lot of those treatments. It's not something that's really, really painful. It's something that it works, it doesn't hurt very much, and it's very replicatable. So that was another big part of it, is if something hurts too much or the patient experience is diminished, you know what, that's something we're going to probably pass on, because we don't want people saying, hey, I spent all this money, but I would never get that treatment done again. You want the patient saying, oh my God, you got to have this treatment. My friends had it. I loved it. Everybody loves it. It doesn't hurt too much. And look at my results. And then finally, it has to have a really strong return on investment. So the idea where, once again, there's a lot of companies that are out there where they charge high, very, capital equipment costs. And then they also have the hand in the other pocket doing these high consumable costs. Who's the person that's losing? Is the person who's actually the business owner. They're paying for all of those marketing dollars. They're paying for the expansion of that product. And really the way that Cartessa saw is we could provide a much higher value to our customers. We can provide better return on investments, great patient experience, and devices that work in the best in class category across all devices. So we will not offer a device unless it's tested through our medical advisory board team, and we really research that.
And Tom, why do you think, I've heard through the grapevine that you guys are one of the fastest growing companies in the United States right now. What if you had to just summarize in a couple of sentences, if somebody said, Tom, what are you guys doing right in the last 5 years? Why are you guys soaring like a rocket ship, and some other companies are just kind of plugging along,
Yeah, I think it's that credo. I think it's that idea of what we're putting forward and how we want to represent ourselves. So to me, we're sounding different. We're trying to be different in the industry. We don't want to just sell a device. We want to have the right device and create long-term partnerships. So one of our biggest, I would say, feathers in our caps is our customers come back and buy 4, 5, 6 devices from us, and many more, because they know that the products work. The company is a great company to partner with. There's a lot of those parallels.
As you know, I probably have 50 instructors across the country, and I asked them point blank. I said, okay, you guys have all the best devices in the world. You got Cartessa and a couple of brands out there. Tell me what you really like about Cartessa. They say, Louis, these things are one of a kind. They have this unique point of difference. So I just want to walk through for our audience out there, because it's one thing to say a laser hair removal device and a photofacial and a fractional tattoo, but like, for example, the laser we use for tattoo removal from you guys, it's a workhorse. It's been around forever. Like what's the magic sauce for the tattoo removal laser to start with? Because that's just so stable. That's one of the only devices I've ever used in my lifetime that's never ever broke.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big part. The Quanta product line, which is something I've been working with for the last 10 years, have a huge, really, they're like technology wizards. They kind of go in the back. They understand lasers better than, to me, most other companies, because they can do more with their technology. And what I mean by that is they can add on different laser wavelengths. And to your point, in tattoo removal, you need different wavelengths to go after the different colors that are in front of you. So you need to have the right component to go after the right color that's in front of you. And with tattoos, there's so many variabilities. How deep did the artist go in the skin? Did the artist blend colors together? And here's the thing, is that as a practice, you don't know. You're just wanting to remove that tattoo for that person to make them happy and move on with their life or give them the best results. And you also want to do it without damaging the skin. So that was something Quanta kind of perfected, is they could put more laser wavelengths at really high energies than any other manufacturer that's out there.
Tell the audience the wavelengths on your Quanta tattoo removal device.
Yeah, so that system has 3 true laser wavelengths, where we have a 1064 that's going to do our blue-black colors, our 694 ruby that's going to do our aqua blue green colored inks, and then we have our 532, which is going to do your red, orange, yellow, purple colored inks.
So the whole spectrum is covered.
The whole spectrum, white and glow in the dark inks.
Yeah. I'll tell you the biggest business mistake I made. I don't want to point out names or anything, but when I bought my first tattoo removal laser, 19 years ago, a sales rep convinced our team that this device could treat any color ink. And it was just 2 wavelengths. And I used that device we used it for about a year or 2. We said, oh my gosh, it can't do the hard colors, like you're just saying. And it sat in our warehouse. It's sitting there. It's been sitting there for 10 years. I can't even sell it used because it didn't have the 3 wavelengths, and I got sold a bill of goods. So it's like, ouch, you know?
Yeah. And Lou, your experience is very similar to a lot of people that are out there, where, you know, laser is really a tool. It's a tool to perform a specific function, and it does it at that highest level. So, you know, one of the value propositions that really Cartessa has is providing these devices that have the best and most effective laser wavelengths, so that whether you're going to do tattoo removal, or you want to specialize in hair removal or vascular devices, or you want platform technology, we're going to find the right device for you so that you can take your practice and really have the confidence that you know that the device is going to work well, that patients are going to be happy, and that you're going to offer them the best service that's out there for results.
So as you know, our new advanced class called Next Level Lasers, we're featuring all the latest and greatest things for people to rock and roll. And my concern when I started that class is I wanted to bring in like a CO2, because CO2 is, you know, it's a big brand, but my concern was, man, these things can be so aggressive. You got to be careful with a new kid on the block who's learning it. So finally, when you guys came out with the Cool Pill, I'm like, holy shit, finally somebody came out with something that I could take it up or down. But explain to everybody about your CO2 fractional Cool Pill. What is the Cool Pill, and why is it such a buzz out there, you know?
Yeah, no. So first, that's, you know, we were kind of talking about Quanta with the tattoo. Deca, the sister company, they make our Tetra laser, which offers the Cool Peel treatment. This is a completely unique way that we've looked at CO2 lasers. So we have something called high pulse technology, which creates these microablations within the skin, and it creates this kind of 1 to 2 day downtime, which, you know, Lou, I know you get this, you hear this from your students coming in, and people are coming into your clinic. Like, people don't want downtime. They don't want to be bloody, weepy, oozy. They want to be like, hey, I can go out to dinner. I can go see my friends this weekend.
Well, Tom, tell our audience, traditionally back in the day, CO2, tell our audience how much downtime there's for a typical CO2 in the world, you know?
7 to 10 days. And then you were probably looking at another 30 to 60 days of post-erythema and redness in the skin.
And you look like a monster.
And and then a lot of times you have porcelain skin. And look, that technology, we know it works. It's very effective, and there's still great places where that's right. And then that's why the Tetra could do all of those really aggressive treatments, but we wanted to offer something to the normal patient, who is the patient. Like, most practices now are starting, and when they're starting with like fillers and Botox. They're starting with those kind of easy things to get going. Tetra is the perfect device, and the Cool Peel is the perfect treatment to offer, because it's a 5 to 10 minute treatment to do full face. You could do it on multiple skin types of patients. You could do it off face. You could do it on neck, chest, hands. It's easy. It's fast. There's no consumable with it. So now all of a sudden you're taking something and making it a high return on investment. And from me, just looking at it from that business, I love the business side of aesthetics too. I get really excited with technology and business together. But the business side, I have never seen practices make such a quick return on investment, where I'm seeing places and, you know, paying off their devices in 60 and 90 days with this equipment. And I mean, just absolutely crushing it and killing it.
When somebody gets as a consumer, when somebody gets a Cool Peel treatment, like, what's the range based on like a more conservative, softer treatment versus somebody getting more aggressive? Like, what are clients paying out there?
Yeah, so Cool Peel is kind of a set of parameters. So it's really about this 24 to 48 hours of a little bit of redness in the skin. Average treatment cost is about $750 to do just the full face.
For how long does it take? 5
to 10 minutes to do a full
hold on. So $750, 10 minutes.
Yes.
I like the math.
Yeah, and here, this is the great thing is, like, we have practices, and because there's no consumable, we have practices where there are patients coming in for Botox. They're like, hey, let's add in a Cool Peel. We'll discount you at 20%. We'll knock it down to $600. to do the cool peel, why we got you here. It's not a huge time crunch. They have it booked out anyway. It's something that the patient, it's adding a new element to it because now you're working on pigment, you're working on texture, brightness of the skin. So it's all those things that Botox and fillers are not going to complete. And it's easy to do. Now, the more aggressive treatments, you're going to be able to charge $2,500 to $4,000, depending on how aggressive. Now, with those more aggressive treatments, you really want to make sure you've got the right protocols in place. You have the right post-treatment, because it is more of a hand-holding process, way, way more aggressive, higher risk, but sometimes for the right patient could be huge home run treatments.
So for the conservative providers out there like me, I know I'm an educator. We do some med spa business, but if I was just gonna have a med spa, Tom, because I like the no downtime, I would just do the soft one for the $750. And you know, it's funny, the math is so great. Whether you've got one provider or three, let's just say they only do 3 treatments a week. Let's say that because you're doing all these different things. You're doing hair removal, photofacial, $750 times 3, you're talking, that's like $100,000 a year right there on only 3 patients a week. So the numbers are good. The clients are thrilled. I've talked to them. They're like loving it.
Yeah, and they're selling these in packages. And to me, this is the type of treatment that keeps patients in your practice and in the business. It keeps them coming back. Like Botox, filler, like there's a lot of competition that's out there. You need to separate yourself. If you're a business owner, you need to have something that's going to make great returns. Look, I love Botox and filler. It's done just amazing for our industry. It's such acceptable. People love it. They look for it. But look, for a business owner, the return on investment is just not there as much. It's not something that they can lean into. It's much harder to make that ROI.
You know, we've bought $1 zillion of injections over the years. What most people don't understand is, like, injections are awesome. They're beautiful. They're awesome. It's a great way to get people in the door. But, you know, when I got in this business, Botox cost like $3.70 a unit. Now it's $6.25 a unit. So if you sell it for $12 a unit, let's say somebody comes in and spends $500, your product cost is $250. So you make $250 in that 15-minute treatment. Where in the technology side, a lot of people don't realize technology, my margins, you know, so rather than having a 50% margin, my margins run 80%. So there's a big difference. It's a big difference. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, and the more you do, especially, I love like cash flow. So taking a look, hey, if most people are going to lease or finance equipment, if you're looking at, hey, my payment is X per month, and I could do those 2 or 3 treatments to hit that. Well, every other treatment beyond that is 100% profit, besides you know, your overhead and everything else that's going on. But when you take a look, the math can make sense. And it just, like I said, it's the type of thing, it's very approachable. And I love it as an idea of combination therapy, which is, you know, I know in your advanced course, that's something that you guys are doing, is this idea of combination therapies together. Because these things play so well within each other. And, you know, so a patient who wants the injection is going to want the texture, and the patient who wants the photofacial is going to want a way to enhance it even better.
Yes. So what's kind of cool, what I'm excited about for our advanced class too, is so we're introducing the carbon facial, but a lot of people, they've heard of like charcoal activated toothpaste and they've seen it in drinks, but a lot of people don't know that that's stepped into our aesthetic world. So tell them what device you're using and this organic carbon product, and like just kind of break it down. They may have seen Kim Kardashian or somebody do it, but a lot of people, it's great. A lot of people don't know what's going on with that, you know?
Yeah. The carbon facials, and in that world, it's a black mask that you'll see on somebody's face, and you use a laser to remove this black mask. What Quanta utilizes a device called the Chrome system, which is a multi-functionality, really facial aesthetics device. And with this device, what you can be able to do is we put on a natural bamboo mask, which has different components where it's not going to cause breakouts of the skin. It's going to help with some pore size for patients. It's going to also help with some collagen stimulation. But to me, where I love this treatment is it's a treatment that you can do anywhere, on any skin type, any time of the year. Which laser treatments sometimes, especially in very sunny areas like Arizona, Florida, California, summertime, when you go to different places, laser treatments sometimes kind of go to a second seat, or they have to wait until somebody's out of the sun and having that sun exposure, because that melanin reaction. this is a treatment they could do all the time. It is something extremely Instagrammable. So
yeah, it
people
looks great on
love-
social media. It's fun. It's like a
yeah,
conversation
yeah, you
starter.
see it and it's like, it's there and it removes away. Like I got down like a rabbit hole watching videos of people blasting off dirt on a patio with like that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's like that instant gratification, very visually satisfying, but really for the patient, it's that low to no downtime treatment. So if they have a wedding coming up, if they have, they're going to go see their friends, they're going to go to a dinner, they're going to go on an interview, there's nothing that would stop them from receiving this treatment and then going and having their normal activities.
And would you say a treatment like this, I mean, I know what we would charge for things like that, but I know you travel the country. So nationwide, would you say this is one of the more affordable treatments for consumers nationwide on the lower end of the price point? Or?
Well, so originally that was always my thought. I think when people just do carbon laser facials, I would agree. Like, I think that's a lower cost type of treatment. The product that we're using and the components, and then we have kind of a different treatment protocol than most. So we have kind of this 3-step protocol in what we do for our natural appeal treatments, which really separates it and makes it a much different treatment. So we're actually getting a higher value. We don't see like people are pushing back at all. We're seeing that this is really the best and kind of the premier brand in this, in this space and in this market. So we're seeing, treatment costs anywhere from $450, in some places $950. So it really kind of depends.
And how long do most of your providers take to do that treatment?
About 20 to 30 minutes to do a full face.
Yeah.
This is something that's easily delegatable, which I love. Now it depends on your state. So if you're in New Jersey, we know, sorry, you can't delegate laser, but in most other states where people can delegate, this is what they're delegating.
You've been in the business long. I've been in the business since 2003. You got a couple of years on me, but I would say there's always something latest and greatest. There's always a new trend for a couple of years. But to me, the latest trend last couple of years, I think it's here to stay forever. The RF microneedling combination.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's the first. It's not just a trend. That's solid. I think that's going to be here for a lifetime. I know you guys have a cool point of difference on your Virtue RF, but you're going to kind of tell them how your RF microneedling device is kind of a little different than the marketplace, what's out there,
You're right. RF microneedling is here to stay. It's an amazing treatment where we see this skin tightening, revitalization. You can use it on all skin types of patients. And what we offer is the Virtue RF product, which is the first device that is a true platform RF microneedling device. Meaning we have 3 different handpieces that are available on that system. So you have our Smart RF, which you're going to mostly use for kind of face, neck, chest, back of the hands, kind of those more superficial, thinner tissue areas. We have the Deep RF, which is really kind of more of the body handpiece. You're going to use on the arms, the thighs, the abdomen. And then we also have our Exact RF, where patients are going to use around the eyes for kind of that, heavy bags under the eyes, around the neck for some defining and tightening there. So it is the first device of its kind to have that. It has over 220 watts of power, so it's extremely high energy delivery of system, which we need in especially thicker tissue areas. But then going back to what I talked about earlier about the patient experience,
right?
We also have something called subpulse technology. This allows to make the treatment much more comfortable while not diminishing the results. So we can kind of create this pulse train of different energy that's broken up over either one continuous pulse or this stepped pulse for patient comfort. So you can either deliver the energy high, we have 1.5, 1 megahertz, 2 megahertz. These are kind of some technical specs that, once again, allow more energy out of the system.
We've done a zillion treatments. We've never had, and we see thousands of people a month. We've never had one customer say, "Oh my gosh, that hurt. I want to jump on the table." Everybody's totally cool. They're totally comfortable. Yeah. And then I see, I guess it's Kardashians or some celebrities endorsed a product, that Morpheus product, which is another RF microneedling. And my same clients, they tried it out because they paid a lot of money for marketing. They said they're jumping off the fucking table. Oh my gosh, like what? You're paying more money for the treatment because it's, they kind of deal with the celebrity. You're jumping off the table. You can get a better result with something that costs us money. There's just not a Kim Kardashian tied to it. But like those people are jumping off the table.
We have seen that. They're not the only company that's out there where we've had, that pain experience that people, people don't want that. People, I think InMode, they've done a great job at some marketing things. So we've just announced, as of yesterday, we have Danica Patrick, who is the female car driver. She is actually one of our spokespeople now. So we're getting into that game. We understand how important branding is. One of the biggest thing is you're going to see those people, our sponsors, our, co-partners, they're actually getting the treatment. So you'll see them getting a real treatment in their experience. So to me, that's such an important part of it is, yes, that patient experience. And we've had a lot of people who have swapped over and switched over from, some different technology to what we can offer because it's an advantage, because it's something more comfortable. And because when patients know and they have this option or this option, if they can see the results from both, but they feel like this is going to be more comfortable, it's a no-brainer for them.
Your new handpiece on that, you said it's called the Deep?
The Deep RF handpiece.
No, is that more of a body contouring handpiece, or talk to me about that?
Yeah, so it's really going to be working on that tightening aspect, some cellulite, stretch marks. It's got a lot of juice running through it. So
right.
There's a lot that we're seeing. There's a lot more. This is one of our newer hand pieces. So there's a lot more we're exploring. But this is also one of the reasons I love working with Cartessa, because we're continuously trying to push the boundaries of the technology to get the best out of it. And unlike other companies where they might try to sell you another device, another component, whatever, another separate unit to do body treatments, this is, or single needle pin for facial rejuvenation, this is all in one device. So it's truly expandable device. So if you want to be an RF microneedling, powerhouse, that's the right device, for you to take a look at.
Years ago, we were one of the first ones in the country when cool sculpting came out, kind of offering cool sculpting. That was the rage. That was a hot thing. And now it's kind of they're about to lose their patent. There's a million knockoffs out there. It's kind of like old school now. And now the latest rage, as you know, is these devices that tone the tummy, tighten up the tummy. And I know yours is pretty cool. I haven't had the treatment, but I've watched some of my staff get it. And I've watched the students kind of line up and go, they're like fighting to get the treatment, which is kind of fun because I didn't realize how many people want those ripped, toned six-pack abs. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, you're right. And here's the other thing, Lou, is every patient who's coming in, they're different, right? So some patients might have a little more, winter weights, a little bit. Other patients just need a little bit of tightening and want that more musculature look. And other patients just have maybe the love handles or on different body areas. They just want a little bit of trimming. The physique device that Cartessa offers, which it took us many years to find the right body shaping device to actually bring in, was kind of the first of its kind, being able to do, both components of that contouring muscle in the same device, that same system to offer both. You don't have a high consumable cost. You had mentioned cool sculpting, once again, great product, great branding. But there's high consumables that are there, and you have those little cards that you beep.
And if you want, check it out, if you want to do like the body contouring and the tummy toning with like Allergan, I love Allergan, they're part of mine, but the bottom line is you got to buy two devices. So you're paying twice versus like a one system that does both. So money-wise, you just save money, Yeah,
it's not only just saving money, but there's benefits. We do a heat approach to kind of really get more of that contouring. And when you're putting heat, you can see an amazing result, losing inches. We had a great study that has just come out showcasing the advantages of heat, but you can also see some improvement in cellulite. You can see improvement in that overall contouring, in the skin texture as well, as opposed to just using cooling. And we have, minimal, issues with it. And then you can add in that muscle treatment. You're cutting down on your room time, right? Because you can't just have, one device on one area. Well, the great thing of physique is you have 4 different paddles that you could put on the upper abdomen, the lower abdomen. You could do the flanks. You could do multiple areas all at once.
How long has that been on the market?
So that system's been out for about 18 months. We've had that out. We're getting phenomenal feedback. We have a lot of big practices that have multiple different body shaping techniques, and they are leaning towards using the physique, not only for the results, but also for their return on investment. It makes more sense for them to have this multi-system.
So in our Louology community, we get together and people ask questions about what injections should I start with, what lasers? And, of course, I want to say start with them all, but that's not practical. So everybody knows that, laser hair removal is kind of the biggest thing out there. That's what gets people in the door. Yeah. Not necessarily the biggest money maker. It's kind of like you go to, hopefully nobody eats at McDonald's, but if you do go to McDonald's, they suck you in with this 99-cent hamburger. They don't really make money off that. Then they sell you the fries, the Coke, and they make money there. So to me, I almost feel like laser hair removal is a great treatment, but it's more of like it gets people in the door to introduce other things. So if somebody said, okay, Tom, I want to do something that's unique and has good profit margins, but I can only start with one device. Would you say laser hair removal, photofacial, body contouring, or what device would you tell them?
My favorite device in that market. So it's such a hard question. They're all like my children, and you're asking like which one's my favorite.
Yeah, pick your kid.
Well,
give me like number one and number like 1, 2, and 3 of that. I know you guys have probably 15 or 20 devices. Yeah. Give me like 1, 2, 3. If somebody's starting a med spa or something,
So if you want to do the most, you want to do hair, you want that loss leader to bring people in. You want to be the best, but you want to do vascular pigment, photofacials, resurfacing, active acne. To me, the Quanta Evo Light Series device is one of the best devices that's out there. To me, that multifunction, multimodality, you have nothing that you're diluting in the device. It has this amazing Illuminate treatment, which is this combination therapy, which is awesome for rejuvenation in the skin. So that is one device that
that system can do what item?
So you could do hair removal on all skin types with the 1064 and 755 laser. Okay. You could do vascular lesions with your 1064 or 532. So that right there is like multiple different devices that most other companies would sell you individually. And this is all in one system. Plus it has a lot more. You could also add on IPL to that device. So your photofacials, photo rejuvenation, pigment works fantastic on it. Your active acne treatments. So patients who are coming in who are a little bit more younger population or having adult acne. You could do acne scarring with an erbium handpiece and do wrinkles, stretch marks, fine lines with that device. So it's like this, if you're like, hey, I want everything, but I don't know which is right first, and I don't know who's going to come into my practice, that device just sings to me. And I think that that's like that best bang for your buck. But with that said, I also love the Tetra device for that system. If you're doing facial aesthetics, you're doing Botox and filler, and you're like, hey, this is just where I want to start. This is where I want to focus. Like, to me, that is just the easiest no-brainer that I think you could ever.
How about, do you think the Tetra Cool, the CO2 fractional cool peel is the best return on investment as far as the dollar amount for the time out of everything? Or
it's tried and true. It's proven. Yeah. People love just picking up that device, using it. Look, hair removal, as you had said, it's a loss leader. People are, there's price competition that's out there. So, when you make those investments, you're doing it to gain market share. You're doing it to try to cast a wider net. Where the Tetra, you're really focusing on that, facial aesthetic, style treatment. So it's that right there is already a niche that you can focus on and be able to do extremely well. So that's that really nice.
Okay, so most med spas and docs offices out there, by the way, I'm sure you know the statistic, but they say we're going to hit 15,000 med spas by 2029. There's like 6,000 right now. And they say, I think last year was about $16 billion spent in medical aesthetics, which half was, the cosmetic surgery and what's Kardashian putting her face in her tush. The other half is our world, plus injections. But they say that number is going to hit 30. It's supposed to be a $16 billion last year. It's going to hit $30 billion a year by 2030. It's like, holy shit. That's like crazy, right?
I think if you would have told me this when I got into this, like what I was kind of getting into, I didn't see it at the time. but I have loved every single second of it. I love this industry. I love technology. I love that people are looking at their skin now. They want to look better. They know what they can do. They know they can look better for longer and look younger. They can do anti-aging. So there is just so many paths that we can continue to do.
You know what, I knew that this business is going to grow for the long run? Because like, you know, you never really, in the business world, you never really want to listen to like the owners of companies, or, you know, we're everything. We're all selling something. So I always look at third parties, what's happening in the world of big boys. And it was about, this was right before COVID. I think it's before COVID happened, when I learned that, well, Allergan, the 600-pound gorilla that owns Botox and Juvederm, and they bought Kohl's Company, et cetera, et cetera. When I learned that the largest drug company in the world, Pfizer, the maker of the COVID vaccine and Viagra, made an offer for $160 billion to try to buy Allergan. And Allergan said, yes, please, we'll take the deal. They're moving the company to Ireland to save billions in taxes. But then I think Trump or somebody stepped in, no tax break. I go, holy shit. Pfizer's not in the aesthetic business, and they're trying to buy the win. And then AbbVie, the eighth largest company in the world that has a drug called Humira, they're not in the aesthetic game. They did buy Allergan for $1 zillion. So like all these monster players saying, wow, I want a piece of this aesthetic game. This is fun. This is great. This is cool stuff. That's when my light bulb went on. I go, wow, Louis, you're in a kind of cool space, you know?
And I think, you know, to your point, there's going to be other more major investments that we're going to continue to see. We're going to see consolidation in the marketplace. We're going to see, I think, some players really step it up. I think some other people are going to kind of fall by the wayside. And I think we're going to see great new technology. I love what I'm seeing with exosomes. I love where I'm seeing these ideas of combination therapies that are coming together. I'm, of course, on that capital equipment side, so always looking at that different tool that can be utilized. So there's even a lot of exciting stuff that's coming out where we're, once again, combining wavelengths together, looking at new technology, you know, looking at doing things differently. So there's a lot of area of growth here that I'm very excited for the next couple of years.
We have our clients, we got the physicians, we got the nurses, the NPs, the PAs, the estheticians, the career changers, entrepreneurs, but the estheticians, sometimes they'll go rent a room somewhere and have a little practice, and maybe, you know, they can't afford a laser. They're always hitting me up for like a really cool technology-based device. They said, Louis, you know, what's out there that's in the world of like hydrofacials and things like that? I know you guys have a cool one. So it's kind of like, would you say that's the most affordable? Is it the skin wave you guys call it?
Yeah, the skin wave device. That is perfect for the esthetician who really doesn't want to do anything serious. They're non-medical. They don't want to go deep into the skin. They don't want hand holding. They want the patient walking out feeling like, my skin is glowing right now. I look great. And also what's great about the skin waves, it's not this huge capital expenditure that we know from so many other products that are out there. And especially with these kind of aqua delivery systems, which are combining kind of different serums and products, while it's also removing the superficial layers of the skin, removing some, you know, clogged pores and such. This is one that's just very approachable. It just makes great financial sense where if they're doing just a handful of these a month, they're going to see a great return on investment on this product.
How would you, in a couple lines, summarize like what this does? Would you say it's kind of like a microderm that infuses skincare products at the same time, or how would you describe it?
So you're getting some extraction. You're combining different serums to brighten, awaken, really make the skin more alive. So it's this kind of perfect combination of like almost like a microderm-esque, aquatherapy-esque, you know, just overall, you know, facial treatment, which we love.
So if our audience one day wants to, you know, they've heard about all these great brands you have, but they're getting rolling and they kind of want to check something out, would your team come to their office and do like a demonstration treatment for free on them so they can feel it and see what they like? Or
yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the big parts of what we're doing is making sure that practitioners, offices, new businesses really get to understand what the Cartessa difference in experiences with our products, and then even with our post-care support, where we have practice development teams that will help them market and go all the way through. So not that they just made the investment and then the laser rep kind of disappears, but if they want, they have marketing support where they'll have a person who's dedicated to helping their business grow, helping them meet their financial goals. and what they want to do. So that kind of long-term partnership is really big, but absolutely they can contact us. They can go on cartessaaesthetics.com. They can see some great webinars. We put on programs. We spend a lot of money on putting on programs throughout the country. I would absolutely, tell somebody, if you're interested to learn more about who Cartessa is, sign up, come to one of the programs. They're all over the country, all different times of the year.
So are all your events listed on your website, Tom?
They are. Yep. So you come there, you'll probably will see me there. You'll meet a lot of the founders of the company. You'll meet the people who really kind of helped grow. You'll meet customers. You can talk to them, talk about their experience. You'll hear tips and tricks of the business, what to do to enhance business, things that are coming out in the future. There's an open bar, so it's a great time. Food. We like to have a good time. We like to really make sure.
You had me at free food and open bar.
That's usually the biggest draw. So coming in.
I totally appreciate this. I know you have a lot more devices, and I was just kind of going off top of mine. I know that's buzzwords and hot in the marketplace. I'm sure you've got a zillion more. We'd be here for hours talking about it, but I think the ones we mentioned are kind of the hot topics out there,
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think everything we checked all those boxes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. There's a lot of people out there that are just hungry for this information because they don't know where to start. So totally appreciate it. And I will see you one day soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lou. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Bye-bye.